Good morning, Tyler. Could you give a short introduction about yourself?
Good morning, Mr. Rokas. My name is Tyler. I run a beard care company, and I've been in the real world for just under a month.
Okay. A beard care company. I can tell you must be doing very well with that, looking at your beard.
Wow, it's doing okay for sure. My beard I take care of every day, so
And
thank
how
you for
long
the
have you had
compliment.
that company?
I've been messing around with it for probably the last 3 years in development and branding and develop and getting it to where I thought I was ready to introduce it to the world.
hmm And how did the real world contribute to helping you with the beard care company?
Um, I did like a lot of people do when they join the real world. I didn't listen to the instructions and focus on one thing. So I bounced around a bit and finally landed in, for me, what was a fit, Professor Arno's campus business mastery.
hmm
And through that, I'm not sure how, but they unlocked a mental block in my brain that got me out of my brokey mindset and made me take action. If I had to really think about what lesson in particular, it would be the one that Professor Arno does with Cobra Tate about speed and business and how those who take action fast succeed.
hmm
And that's been proven.
Okay. And what was your mindset like before you joined the real world and with business? And how much has it changed since? So now you mentioned speed. What else would you say?
For some reason, I had a fear of success. I have 9,000 projects, and none of them are anywhere near where they need to be to do anything. Andrew Tate's The Real World gave me focus, and it gave me the mental capacity and mental fortitude to stop worrying about what everyone else was thinking and the negative consequences that would come from failure.
hmm Interesting. So you're saying negative consequences and what everyone else was thinking. So in terms of other people's opinions, has that had much of a sway in your life?
Oh, my entire life. Um, my whole life, I've done what other people have wanted me to do. Even when I was in the military of the United States Marine Corps, my job that I did there was to satisfy my father because he thought that I needed a trade when I got out.
hmm Interesting. And this goes back to I don't know if you watched Sartorial. I remember Sartorial said there was a study done with a Palantir nurse of people on their deathbeds, the top five regrets of the dying, and one of them was not living a life true to what I wanted to do, but to what other people wanted of me, something along those lines. So is that something you've realized yourself then as well?
It absolutely is, and Cobra, Mr. Tate talks about a good woman will make you a good man, and that's true. I was lucky enough to find my good woman on my second wife. So fortunately, she's been my driving force and my solitude, who allows me to do what I need to do and convinces me that I am who I am, regardless of what people tell me. The top regret being doing what you did for other people. I've lived that my entire life. And the mental block that I had, that the business mastery course, the mindset classes in particular, allowed me to get through is just amazing. I didn't even know I had the block, but that explained the lack of focus and everything else that was keeping me from my potential.
hmm And is that what helped with your fear of success? I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly how you phrased it, but yeah, that self sabotage from success. Is there any more to go into there of what do you think was causing it and how you overcame it?
There's a lot more to go into that, but I don't know that we have the time in this
We do.
interview.
We do. Feel free. As much as you're comfortable going into it, go into it, please.
Oh well, it I mean, the fear of success is deeply rooted in me from a young age. Whenever I would try to do anything, I would literally get beaten into submission. Um, for instance, whenever I was a young boy and I was getting candy money to go to the store to use at school, I would save all of my money. I'd put it away. I put it away because I wanted to get something nice with it. And then I was riding my stepbrother's skateboard and somehow it ended up missing. So I got blamed for it being lost. And my wonderful stepmother decided that she would go into my money that I'd been saving for however long and help herself and her son to my funds because I was the last one seen on his skateboard. So that lesson there taught me that money is just something that people are going to take away from you if you save it. It goes back that far for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Interesting.
that just bred a fear of success, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I always get it. So until I joined the real world, I would always have these projects that I would do to try to become an entrepreneur. And I would get right to the precipice of where I could launch and really start earning a living at what I really wanted to do and making money. And I would self sabotage and say, oh, no, it's not good enough and start over again or do something else.
Mm-hmm. So in this case, it seems I'm guessing you've seen the lesson raw action solves everything. Because it used to be similar with me as well, where maybe it wasn't trauma, maybe it was something else, but I would overthink a lot of things. And overthinking, over rationalizing, like I know what I need to do, but then I just start over rationalizing and ended up not doing it. So
Mhm.
really implementing raw action solves everything. That quote, that has had quite a drastic difference on me. So yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it's something you're trying to do now as well with the Beard Care company. Just ignore those thoughts and just do it, right? Or do you have a different mindset?
No, that's exactly where I'm at. Raw action. Take the action, move forward, and find out what happens later. If
Mm-hmm.
you get into a big problem I've had is getting into the analysis paralysis and not taking action at all. There's so many options and so many things that you can do that it's hard to focus down on one. Um, and I've even had to reel my wife back in a little bit on the analysis paralysis and trying to do too many things at one time as well. For instance, with the beard company, I wanted to launch with 1 cent and do that one product really well. Um, However, we ended up launching with six, but it's okay that way. She's like I said, she's my rock. She knows me better than I know myself, and she knows what I'm capable of. She's encouraged me almost as much as the real world has to get
Interesting.
through.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's I've been blessed with her for sure.
Yeah. And what brought you to the real watch?
Actually, listening to Andrew Tate's rhetoric, which is not really rhetoric, he speaks truth. Um, caught my attention, so I did some research on him, and I found out that he's a really great guy. And but what really brought me to the real world was I saw a Jay Waller post. I think it was a Jay Waller Clips post, and it was finally someone besides Andrew Tate and Tristan really promoting the real world, and that let me know that if you put in the work, you can reach the top of whatever the real world is. So at that moment, and then I looked at the pricing and it was $50. And I said, I blow $50 on garbage. So why not? And it's not even 50, it's 49.99 a month US. So,
Mhm.
so I was like, why not? $50 for this month and see what happens. Well, that's paid dividends.
All right. Is there any more to go into that on the impact that Tate has had on you?
I'm just getting started in my journey. I No, not really. Not yet, at least. Hopefully, there's a lot more to come. There is
Okay.
a lot more to come for sure. I'm just getting started in the real world.
Sure. And how different is the material that you've seen within the real world compared to what's out on the internet?
It's completely different. It's real, it's actionable, and it's broken down to a point where you can repeat the step that you don't understand until it clicks in your mind. Um, I have been on this journey to try to make my own self prosperous for probably 9 years. That's when I started trying to get into the t-shirt business. I bought a heat press and a vinyl cutter and started designing some stuff and actually started to get some traction and get kind of successful. Self-sabotaged myself and said, "Oh, that's not going to be worth anything or be good at all." So I quit that. But I still got the stuff that you still keep all the trappings and all the things from all the projects that you don't ever finish. So looking back on it now, I would say I'm not really glad that all that happened, but maybe it was fortuitous and forces outside of me saw what was coming with the real world and where I would be. Because now I have all the tools that I need to put with all of the education that I'm getting out of the real world to really become a success.
Right, right. And how different has your average day changed then? How different is it now compared to before you joined?
Before I joined, so one thing that I think your listeners need to understand is that my brokey job pays me six figures a year. So for a lot of people, especially me included, that's motivation enough to stay where you're at. And what I do in the brokey world, I have managed to whittle down to probably 4 to 6 hours a day of actual work. So I've been able to split my day into three phases: morning brokey work, my time, and then evening brokey work. So it was really difficult for me to try to do something else because I was comfortable, right? We all love that comfort zone where nothing's really going bad. We don't really have to try. We get up, we go through the routine. Since joining the real world, my day has gotten a lot longer. I'll put it that way. I probably work a 17-hour day now. I'm up at 5 a.m. I put in my real world time from 5 to 7, and then I do my brokey stuff for because I'm committed to them for 40 hours a week. I do that work from 7 to 5 in the afternoon, and then I get done with that, and then I do the real world work again, which is my work. It's working on me as a person because that's just as important, and you get that out of the real world as well. That you as a person and how you present yourself to the world is just as important as the work you're doing to build somebody else's dream.
Hmm.
And that I think is what we lose when we give into the slave mindset. The slave mind controls everything. Everything that you do from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to bed. Slave mind controls it. Until you can break that, which is what the real world has done for me, you're going to be caught in the loop.
Right. That's a great way of putting it because I was going to ask, you earn six figures from your everyday job, but you're saying it's a brokey job. So I would have asked for clarification, but I think that clarifies it quite well, what you just said.
I, I believe brokey's more of a mindset than a pay rate because I can make $1 million a year, but if I'm building someone else's dream, then what am I really doing? I'm being satisfied. I have taken satisfaction in a percentage of what I could really be. To me, it's like fractional reserve for mankind, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a scam basically.
It's absolutely a scam. It's absolutely
Yeah.
trade
But
me your most precious resource and
yeah,
earn me 10x what I'm going to pay you.
yeah.
It is a
And
scam.
I mean, you can't actually put value on it technically because fractional reserve is just as long as we believe in it. But anyway, that's
Yeah, that's another
tangent,
conversation.
tangent. So when you said earlier 9,000 projects, was that exaggerating or actually?
No, that's exaggerating a bit. I mean, but at any one time, I probably have 5 projects going until now. Now I'm focusing on my beard company, and I'm seeing traction with that thanks to the real world's breakthrough that I got. And like I say, for me, it's really hard to quantify what particularly in the real world gave me the breakthrough because, and I'm not sure if a lot of people do this, but when I got into the real world, for me, it was the deep end. Like there were so many things that I could do all at one time and learn. And my wife tells me I'm ADD, though I've never actually been diagnosed. So the real world is a candy store for me. I can learn new things in 2 minute increments and just fill my brain up. It's really easy to get lost in the deep end of just learning all the things and not actually apply anything. And you see it all the time in the real world. You see the guys come in, hey, where do I do this? Everybody wants the affiliate marketing campaign. The value in the real world is in the business skills that you're going to learn. It's not in the affiliate link that you're looking for. Learn the skills, apply them in real life, and you will be successful. And that's what the real world's taught me in the business mastery course. Now, once I have my beard company, the goal for my beard company right now is I'd like to do 1,000 units a month online sales. That's my current goal. Once I have that going, then I think I will try to learn some more skills within the real world because that will provide me the freedom of the freedom of time to really focus on like copywriting because I do my own copywriting now, but it's not as good as it could be.
So what's your plan of getting to 1,000 units sold per month?
So currently, luckily, I live in California, so there's a large demand for artisan things in California, made by the person that is selling it. So I am utilizing that as a marketing venue to drive traffic to the website. For instance, the last 5 days I've spent at a farm locally here where they had a vendor fair and I set up my booth and I was able to make $1,900 in those 5 days. Without the real world, that wouldn't have been possible. I know that for a fact because I've been trying to do it for the last 9 years and just haven't had any success. Um, so that's my plan right now. I've booked another session. Excuse me. I've booked another session at the end, another booth at the end of July to give us time to make product because we're a family business. I've got 4 kids and I'm teaching them to do this as well. I'm breaking their slave mind now before they even think about entering the job market. Um, so I booked another spot at the end of July and then again at the end of August. So and this week, what apparently was a slow week, and usually there's 5 times the traffic. So and hopefully is not a good word. So what I intend to do is have at least 1,000 units of product ready to go for both of those shows. And in the meantime, starting to drive web traffic to my site.
Mhm.
That's what a lot of people, I think, get confused about in the real world is that real business is done in person. It's not always done via a computer.
Oh. And we have a mix of both. I mean, I done an interview recently. I don't know if you watched with Jackson, who's making several thousand a week. I think with a window cleaning, door to door. He just goes door to door, and yeah, window cleaning company. So definitely, yeah, agreed with you. It's not only online; you can do it in person as well. There's both avenues, whichever fits you best as a person, I'd say. And when you joined the real world, have you engaged much with the community within, or did you just focus on going through the lessons?
So, like I said, I really didn't have the focus that I needed going through the lessons. But once I found the business mastery campus, that gave me a little more focus. And while I was in there, I realized I have a lot of so what I learned about myself after joining the real world is I already personally have a lot of these skills.
Hmm.
I didn't realize I had them until they were all collated into one place, and basically a checklist when you go through the classes of doing this, doing this, doing this. Oh, I do that. I do that. I do that. I do that. So what I've started doing now with the focus on business mastery is going back to the beginner chat and looking at the questions these guys are asking and offering good advice. Um, Letting them know, hey, don't do that. You're going to get banned. Hey, this is what I've done. This is what's been successful for me. Just trying to give to the community as much as I can because I think that is as important as being successful yourself. A lot of you, the real world is marketed as a training site, but I really believe it's more of a mastermind where people will come together and share ideas and help each other out.
Hmm. There's several aspects to it. That's definitely one that has helped a lot of people. Yeah, everyone. I mean, why do you think they only charge $50 for everything? The community, as you're saying, a mastermind, all the lessons, everything. Why only $50?
$50 because everyone's broke. Everyone is broke. So at $50, you can afford it. I can afford it. Um, if you have a problem coming up with $50, and I'm in the United States, so for me, $50 isn't really anything. Uh, However, if you're going out every week and spending $100 at pub or at the bar or on other things that make you feel good, take that $50 for that week, put it into the real world, take the time you would have spent at the pub, put it into the real world, and see what happens in a month. I promise you, you won't regret the decision. And then you still have the other 3 weeks of the month to go get drunk and do brokey stuff until you realize that's not what you should be doing.
Yeah, good point. And since you're on this trajectory now, where do you see your life heading then in the short term, medium term, and long term?
Um, in the short term, I look forward to opening a brick and mortar store that we can produce our product out of and have a storefront. In the long term, I look for my children to be more successful than I am, and I really believe the real world is giving me the skills to equip them for that. And as soon as I think they are ready, they will also be part of the real world.
Good. I was going to ask, yeah, do you have any plans on getting them into the real world as well, or are they currently too young?
They're too young right now. My oldest is 14,
Hmm.
but she's on top of it already. She actually helped me get to. So I used another one of Tate's suggestions is work with family because family's not going to screw you over. Well, except for me, my whole family always screwed me over growing up. That was one of the experiences I had that kept me as a brokey, with not being able to. When you can't trust your own family, there's a lot of serious problems. Um, but my daughter, yeah,
Hmm.
she's as soon as she's old enough, she's joining the real world for sure. But I might have her already knowing everything the real world can teach, but that's okay because she can always learn more.
Hmm. So what you just said about family, the family you're born into, you can't choose, but you can build your own family. And you've built your own now, and you know that these are the people you can trust. But yeah, back then, I mean, for a lot of people, I don't think that's the advice that is meant that your family isn't going to screw you over. Because again, you can't choose what family you're born into, what the type of people are, and so many people will have conflicts with their family. So yeah, it's more like you need to build your own family. And whether it's with brothers you trust and respect, as in with other people who become your brothers, or like you're doing with your children and your wife, working with them. But yeah, just wanted to clarify that. And as for questions, I believe that's everything from my end. So to end off, what advice would you have to people who are still unsure about joining the real world because maybe they think it could be a scam?
It's not that. Do it. So, in the 90s when I was in high school, Nike had an ad campaign called Just Do It. Just do it. Take the 50 bucks, scrape together, get in the real world. If you think it's a scam, it's not. That's been one of my hardest fights with my wife actually is she kind of thinks the real world is a scam. But when you have 17,000 people in a chat room, you're not scamming 17,000 people in one chat room. Um, Overall, I think the platform is over 200,000
Mhm.
users now. I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to quote anything specifically. But you're not scamming 200,000 people. There's real value there, whether it's in marketing the program itself or the business skills that you're getting by going through the program. I've been looking for a program like this to help me understand sales because that's what this is, in my opinion. This is absolutely a sales course. It's a sales course for the people who are willing to put in the work. Um, and you get a lot of people who don't want to join it just because of Andrew Tate's online presence and his presence in the media. But if you filter through the bullshit and you really listen to what the man is saying, he doesn't have any ill will toward anyone willing to work for what they want. Um, but yeah, as far as it being a scam, no, it's not. If you think it is, stay in your analysis paralysis until you get out of it and realize it's not. If you don't have 50 bucks, you got 10 friends, borrow five from each of them, and then in a month, pay them back with 500. And then that will show them that it's not a scam. And it'll also prove to you that it's not a scam.
Yeah. Very well said, Tyler. Thank you. And for
Thank you.
people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
You can find me online at burlierbeardco.com. That's my online store. It's straight to the point. When you log in, you'll see products for sale, and that's about it. But you can reach me. You can sign up through. You can send me a chat through there. You can send me an email through there.
Good.
That's where I'm available.
I'll add it to the description of the video. And yeah, Tyler, I look forward to doing some follow-up interviews with you every 3 months or so, if you'll be interested, just to hold you accountable to you taking action, not overthinking, and checking in on your progress as well. And yeah, until next time, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Rokas.